Welcome to the next episode of the Iowa Girls Wrestling Stories podcast, now partnered with Chain Wrestling. Today I have two sisters from MFL MarMac, senior Mackenzie Bachman and sophomore Kennedy Bachman. How is everyone? Everyone
Good.
good? And how
Yes.
was Christmas? Because we just got done with Christmas.
It was really good. We had like three Christmases in a row, so kind of Christmas out at this at this
Yeah.
point.
Did Santa Claus treat you well?
He did. He did.
Very good, very good. And you said you just got back to practice today, so started working off some of that turkey. That's good.
Yep.
All right. So, one thing I always say to people when they start wrestling, I always ask them, "Hey, do you have a brother or a sister?" And if they say yes or no, especially yes, I say, "Well, you've probably wrestled in the living room multiple times, correct?" Yeah, oh yeah, we wrestle
Yes.
around. So, really, honestly, almost everybody's wrestled, and having sisters is just kind of a cool thing. So, how did you guys get started wrestling?
I would say, well, we actually wrestled when we were like really little and like the youth. I think we did like a couple years, never did any like the youth tournaments or anything. It was just like we would go to practices and every single day in the winter, like we always went to his practices. Like we sat there and waited for his practice to be done, and we would go home with him, and we would always go to every single meet. So I think it was just a thing that like we were there, so you might as well go and do the practices. And then I think I came home one day in second grade or something like that, and I asked my dad, "Oh, can you sign me up for the youth?" And he told me no. And I think it was because, like, at that point, there wasn't that many girls, and I don't think he really wanted me wrestling like the guys. And so then I didn't do it. And so then it hit sixth grade, and Brent Pape, who's our coach now, put out a flyer for like girls to do like this little couple week long camp with him, and it was just girls. And I was like, oh, might as well like do it something different and fun. And in the end, we ended up going to the Independence like tournament in the spring or whatever. And I really liked it. And so then it hit that year of going into like basketball or wrestling. And up until this point, I did play basketball. And I was like, oh, I want to be a wrestling manager. Like, I just want to do that. And so then, like, the first day of practice, Brent said to me, hey, I know you're managing, but I just want to let you know there is an all girls tournament going on. It's like, oh, well, I'll practice then for that because it was an all girls tournament and I'll cater. So I was like, why not? I did not want to wrestle guys at all. Like that was my biggest thing is, and it was just the fact that like I knew that they were stronger and more experienced, and I just didn't want to go there. And so I was like, I'll do it as long as I don't have to wrestle guys. And so then from there on, I just kept doing it, I guess, and
Gotcha.
would, yeah.
So, Mackenzie, how'd you get started then?
Oh, me? So I played basketball for a long time and I did youth for 1 year and I didn't really like it that much. And whenever we would go to tournaments, I probably would never pay attention. Like, I remember my first practice, I didn't even know how to cover someone on top. I knew nothing. And so Mackenzie knew a lot more than me, probably
Oh
going
shoot,
into.
I got you guys backwards, don't I?
Oh, yeah, it's okay. Oh, and then I played basketball up until eighth grade, and then going into my eighth grade year, I've always been like, no, I'm not doing wrestling. I don't like it. And one day I just woke up and was just like, oh, I want to try something different. And so I just decided to do wrestling, and I really enjoyed it a lot.
Very nice. So, did either of you get to wrestle at any of the IWCOA tournaments prior to sanctioning?
I did. I wrestled at one, I think my freshman year. Yes, my freshman year, I think is I wrestled there. Yeah.
Gotcha. So, okay, so that would have been the really big one that they announced the sanctioning at and all that. Is that
Yes. Yes.
gotcha? Awesome. That was a pretty cool experience to be at that one. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed that. Awesome. Awesome. So, your family is a big wrestling family. And,
Yes. Yeah.
so how much influence did dad have on you?
None.
Mm,
None.
None.
Really?
none.
Um, he he was definitely big on like that's our decision. It was never I want you to do it. It was definitely I think he just never wanted to like feel like we had like pressure to do it and pressure to like I don't know, like be like the best at it or like he just people he wanted it fully like our choice. And if we did it, he definitely wanted to be fully like our choice if we wanted to like do out a season and do the other things. And so obviously when we joined, I think he right away he was like excited and like he like you could tell at like the meets he was into it a lot. And so like he was excited that we joined, but it was never like a pressure that we had to do it or anything, I would say.
I know when I joined, my dad was kind of against it. He was like, "No, I think you should stick with basketball and stuff," because we all kind of did our own sport, so it's kind of new and different for me to try.
Yeah. I would say I think the pressure thing or like having to coaches is probably the biggest thing. Like I know like my mom told me one time she was like, she was like, I don't even think Chet wanted any boys because I don't think he wanted to deal with like the coaching and the pressure and being the dad of the son or stuff like that in sports. So he was very much it's our choice to do it or not.
That's cool. Does he spend some time coaching you though? Do you get
Oh
some
yeah.
get
Yeah,
some
he does.
one-on-one coaching then?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we have met meets like you could definitely tell he's like into it and that he like cares a lot and he's taught me like probably all most of the technique that I know and like he's taking me to a lot of camps or like after practices he'll like do some one-on-one with us or show us some things in the living room like you said and so he's definitely there for us all the time.
Yeah, I had that. Well, our situation at Ridgeview, Tatum Shepard. I don't know if you ever met Tatum or not, but
I never met her, but I heard of her, yeah.
so her dad coaches with me and stuff, and she always
Okay.
really enjoyed it. And some people don't like having dad in the dad in the room all the time and stuff, but
Yeah.
it's really cool that you guys get to have that experience because that's something you'll always get to share, and you'll always get to have, and
Yeah.
it's really cool that he's embraced the girl side of the sport too.
Yeah.
That is
Yes.
really awesome. So, this season, I went through your records last night. You both are having incredible seasons. Mackenzie, you're ranked third right now at 125 and 1A, I believe.
Oh,
And
I didn't even know that.
well, you are. Last year you were 37 and 12. You did not qualify last year, is that correct?
No, that's correct. Yeah.
That's correct. So you must have had a really tough district, I'm assuming,
Yeah.
or just a bad
Tough,
tournament. What?
tough district, bad tournament. After I lost to Lily Stow in the semis, like I come like completely like broke. Like I then like had no energy to compete. Then my next match I wrestled Eddie Collins from Charles City, but now she goes, I think, to Raccoon Rivers or um and I actually hadn't seen her before, but at almost all the tournaments that I've seen her before, I've always placed higher than she
Uh-huh.
has. So I beat several of the girls that she's wrestled and like I went into that match and like she just she like she just took me right there. Like I had no my mentality was like gone. Like it was a tough tournament for me that day,
I
probably.
I
Yeah.
completely understand that. I had similar things happen my senior year, so I feel for you. Um,
Yeah.
what with that experience? What have you taken from that, and what have you learned from that?
I will say I've wrestled, I think, more from that experience. And I think I've learned that I just need to like enjoy this sport more. Like obviously it's like my favorite sport, my passion, the thing that I love, but I think there's times where I take it in a little bit too seriously that I like work myself up to being so nervous. There's like been times I think, and I think I was just taking it so seriously, so nervous, like, oh my gosh, like I just, what if I don't make it? And I think like, especially like going back on that day, I think I was just overly nervous about it, not enjoying what I'm doing, not loving what I'm doing. So I think after that, I more so just wanted to focus on like being with people who like made the sport like fun and doing fun things with the sport and also just like going through like the mental side like trying to prepare myself like maybe like better from a match like listen to more fun music than maybe what I was or I don't know. I also like I can't be the person I cannot sit there and focus on my match for like 20 minutes before it happens. That would drive me insane. So I need a person like I need someone to like chit chat and talk with and I need someone that's more like funny and fun around me, I think I realized and um And so I think there's been a lot of like mental stuff on the side of it too, where I'm like I have to like constantly like well, I'll tell myself like, hey, this is just another match as long as I go out there and try my very best. Like there's nothing more than I could do as long as I did my best. So I think that's one thing that I've been really focusing going in a lot of my tournaments been like, oh, hey, it's just another day. Let's just go out there and try our best. And that's all we can ask for.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to your experience there.
Yeah.
Would have been 2 years ago at the state tournament. Both Tatum and Izzy lost in the semifinal
Mm.
match, and you would have thought that someone, just had killed their dog. It was horrible and stuff, and that's why the next year we took a different approach. And here's maybe just a little something that if you need to kind of step away from it, we started taking coloring books to
Oh,
tournaments
really?
and stuff. So, and then I actually found out, and so this is where I have Jason Shepard's a professor. He's super smart. His wife's a doctor, and actually coloring takes it's like I don't, it takes your mind off of everything else, and it actually is like proven to maybe reduce stress and all this stuff. So,
Yeah.
just maybe just a thought for you, if that works. Um, but then, God, you had probably the greatest AAU state tournament you could have probably ever asked for, didn't you? I mean, you
Yeah.
placed
Yes.
second at
I
that
had
tournament.
yes.
You had a really significant win. I'm looking over here at my notes here. Really
Yeah.
significant win against Destiny Brown, who placed second at state. So that had to be a huge confidence builder,
Yes.
and stuff. So that's awesome. I'm going to skip to your sister now, and then we'll come back around to some different things here. Um, let's see, where are we at? Okay, there you are. Right now, you're ranked eighth in the state. I didn't know if you know that or not. Okay, so you're ranked
No, I
eighth
did
in this.
not.
You did not. There's okay. So I get to get to give you the news. That's pretty cool. And you had a great freshman year. 30 wins. That's pretty impressive as a freshman. We look at, like I look at anybody that hits over 20 wins in a first season, and I don't care if you wrestled before high school, still a first season because the big jump in the way people wrestle. So 30 wins is awesome.
Thank you.
You also did not qualify for the
No, I
tournament.
did not. I should have probably gone up to 105 for qualifying for regionals. I probably would have made it, but I chose to stick to 100, and all the girls that were higher than me that ended up going, I've lost to before. And it was probably, I wouldn't say like a rough tournament. I went into the tournament feeling very confident going into it. I don't know, I probably maybe didn't wrestle the best. But I definitely don't regret not going because I feel like it really made me a better wrestler and really changed my mindset.
Yeah, that's, a lot of times, we're all excited about wins all the time, but truly the losses are what makes us a better wrestler. And I'm sure you hear that all the time being in a wrestling household and your dad, I tell my girls all the time, losses do not define us. It's how we react to those losses and how we come back from those losses is really what defines us as athletes. I'm kind of looking ahead here. Um, the people ranked ahead of you, Mackenzie, right now, I believe is oh no, I'm just looking at your losses here. April Hauser and Camille, and then someone from Osage at
Yes.
120.
Which
So
I split with
wow.
the safe girl. So
Yeah, I
that
mean, but those are great losses to lose from. I mean,
yeah. Yeah.
Camille's state champion last year.
Yeah.
April, I
Yeah.
believe, got second last year. So I mean, you're wrestling right there with the top girls. People ranked ahead of you right now, Molly Allen, and
Hmm.
we'll have to talk. I got some insight on Molly for you. I love her to death, but we keep getting a little bit closer every time we wrestle her. So maybe I'll throw some stuff at you. And then this girl from West Liberty, I don't know her, Eileen Ergon. Have you ever wrestled Eileen before?
No,
Or Aileen? I'm not sure how to even say it.
I do think I'll see her at the Cascade tournament, which will be in the first couple weeks here in January. I think West Liberty should be there. So
Very nice, very nice. And then I'm not. I guess I didn't even. I must not have wrote down your losses there, Kennedy. Um, oh, I do know that you've lost to Heeman, and that's going to be someone in
Yeah.
your district. And are we
Yes,
getting
I lost
closer?
to her
Is
twice.
Yep.
I keep getting pinned in the second period. I always choose down, and I've never chose top on her, which I maybe wish I would have tried just to know where I'm at. But I will say each time I wrestle her, I probably hold out a little bit longer.
Uh-huh. Good. I mean, those are those things that we're looking at because let's maybe let's actually talk about your district just a little bit. Really tough district because you got Decorah coming in, Osage is there, Charles City's there, you guys are there. So there's going to be some weights that are really stacked, and unless there's some changes in weights, which could very easily happen, could have some different changes in weights, or somebody's not going to get a go. Uh, Kelby, I talked to Kelby quite a bit actually. We've become pretty good friends. He said this stuff happened all the time to the guys, and he said the one thing that I believe your dad probably said is it's time to get to work, time to get things figured out. So, this month, January is that month where we get to figure these things out. What's your guys' approach coming into January?
I would say to keep climbing up and like I want to make sure that I like peak at the right time in the season and save that peak for at the end of January, beginning of February. And to just keep, I think for me, just going in and keep still working on my mental side of things and still like, taking each tournament like in a positive way and knowing that this is just another opportunity to wrestle. And I'm excited for January because I feel like we have like different competition to what we saw in December. So I'm like excited to see what happens there.
Nice. We've kind of been awful serious so far. Let's maybe talk a little bit about the fun side of wrestling. What's it like to have sisters on a team? What's the support like, or is it can it be a little bit rough at times?
Um, I would say it's really good. Like me and Kenny are actually practice partners in the room, even though we had that weight difference. Um, a lot of the other girls in the room are all still newer. And so, when coach set calls out a move for us to drill, a lot of the girls then need like the coach to come over and reteach the move and stuff like that. So me and Kenny are partners because then we can just go and drill, drill, drill. And it's been actually really good for us to be each other's partners because we like constantly like push each other and like almost try to like one up each other every time we do something, I would say.
Nice.
And we're really good support too, like about everything. So
I love being like with Mackenzie on a team. I think next year when she graduates, it'll be a lot harder not being able to have a sister on the team because you're just really close to them and they feel like your best friend on the wrestling team.
Yeah, I can imagine that's going to be a whole different year for you. My brother wrestled, but he was 6 years older than me, so I never ever in the same room or anything, and stuff. So I think that would be such a cool experience to be able to have your sibling in there. So I hope
Yeah.
you guys really enjoy this year, and I hope you embrace it. So MFL MarMac, 1A school, small school. I
mhm.
coach at small schools. Everybody does everything. What other activities are you guys involved in?
Oh, I'm just about in everything else. So I do the dance team at MFL, and then we recently got soccer last year, so I joined that and did soccer, and I'll do that again this year. And then I'm the president of the student council, and then I'm also vice president of National Honor Society, and then I am also in choir, and um, I do SOTA, which is Students Opposed to Drugs and Alcohol. Um, I do FFA. I don't know.
Man,
I just
the list is long, man.
the list is long. I came in my freshman year deciding to kind of join everything, and I don't know. So I like doing it all, but
And
So
I just do cross country, wrestling, and soccer. I did do soccer. I don't think this year I'm gonna do it just because I felt like it didn't benefit me a lot for like maybe wrestling that I really care about. So I think I'm gonna wrestle freestyle, but I don't do as much as Mackenzie. She does a lot more than me.
yes, she does. Wow, that's a lot. That's awesome. That's an opportunity you get at small schools. To
yeah,
be able to
yeah.
do all those different things. I talked to like Allie Joe at Cedar Falls. A lot of her girls, all they do is wrestle. because
Oh, I've
that's,
heard of.
just because you have to specialize to make a team there because there's so many athletes that are in different things, or you have to be just specialized in whatever you're doing. So I think
Yeah.
it's really cool that, that is the big benefit to small town Iowa is you get to be in
Yes.
everything you want. Cross country. I got duped into being a cross country runner by my wrestling coach. When I started, it was 2 miles. And I'm like, oh, anybody can run 2 miles. That's not a problem. And that would have been my sophomore year, and I was not good. You've seen my body build. I'm pretty short, right? So yeah, I ran 2 miles and it was great. I was JV and it was awesome. So the next year they changed it to 3.1 miles, and that's just stupid. I don't think that should be allowed. That's just not right. So here's how bad I was at cross country so you can make yourself feel good about things. So my senior year, I was our top boy runner. So you can imagine how great our team was. I thought I did really well at districts, and I got 99th. I was like I had my best time ever, but I got 99th. So that's that's pretty sad, isn't it? But it was fun. I enjoyed cross country. Um, Gave me the opportunity to get in the weight room right after running and then do some wrestling too. So that was kind of fun. But yeah, just the opportunity to do all those different things. That's great. Is there anything else you do in your, for fun in your time off besides all your school activities? What do you guys do at home?
Our dad will take us hunting and fishing a lot. Like that's what he loves to do. If anything, I think he'd want to go hunting and fishing every single day. Um,
Nice.
so growing up, he's always taken us hunting and fishing and all the time. And our family likes to spend time on the river in the summer a lot. So that's really nice too.
Are you both hunters and fishermen?
Mackenzie probably is more. I don't really like it as much, but I kind of just do it to just go along.
Yeah.
I
So
more like to bake in my free time. I
so
like to bake and
as
cook.
Nice. So I don't know if this is just the younger sibling thing, but my brothers and dad and everybody would like to go hunting and fishing too, but I tended to be the bird dog during pheasant season. Hey, go grab that. I hate being cold. So, you're out in the winter walking terraces and stuff like that. It's not fun. And then fishing, they told me that if I talked, that the fish would get scared away, so I couldn't talk in the boat or anything. So I absolutely hated fishing. It's just dumb. So, and then also I love to cook and bake and all those things too. So maybe that's just a younger sibling thing. Maybe I
Yeah.
spent more time with my mom or something like that. So that's kind of cool. Um, how has your team progressed since sanctioning? Has your
Um,
team grown a lot, or I mean,
I would say in a way, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think the year that it got sanctioned at state. So my freshman year, I think we had four girls on our team. And then the next year, I think we had maybe four again, I think, or six. And then last year, you know how many we had last year? Maybe six. And this year we have nine, I
Yeah,
think.
nine.
okay, so
So but the thing about I would say about our numbers though is this year, like we didn't haven't jumped necessarily a lot, but with the nine girls, they all show up. Where we've had trouble with several girls not showing up at all, and so
yep.
it's the girls that are there all like want to get better and like actually care about the sport and like doing it. So that's really good to see.
Which makes practice a lot more fun.
Oh
And
yes,
and just yeah, I ran in the same situation. I'm really big on participation in wrestling, and I want a lot of people to enjoy it. But the last 2 years I've been so lenient that people miss practice all the time, and then well, I suppose you can wrestle this meet. So this year I just made a rule: if you're not at practice, you don't get to wrestle. And it's amazing. We've lost about 10 people because of that. I have about we started with I think 29 on the roster, and I think I'm down to around 19 or 20 now, which is great because again, the people that are showing up in the practice room
yes.
are working hard and people are getting better. So that's really fun. Um, I don't even want to dwell on the district assignment and stuff like that. I want to go and talk a little bit about maybe some of the fun things you did in wrestling last year
Mhm.
outside of the high school season. You both wrestled at Twin River Duels for AAU, and
Yeah,
maybe talk a bit about your experience and what that was like.
I thought it was really, really fun. I did it the year before, but like. this year I probably liked this last year I probably liked it even more, but I think it also had to do with like I was on the team with Kennedy and then also with Carrie. Like the year before Carrie, I didn't really know like my coaches that well. I don't know. So like when Carrie was the coach, like she was so welcoming and like so fun to be around. She made the presence and the team and the experience like way better. And I think that is one thing I feel like having a good coach can make the experience way better for a person. And so I feel like she made it really fun and all the girls on the team were really fun. We wrestled with two Wilton girls on the team, Audra and Natalie, and they were really fun to be around too. So I really enjoyed it, and I feel like it's just a fun experience to do.
What'd you think about what'd you think about wrestling with Crazy Carrie?
I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was so much fun being on like a fun team. I feel like I've done it, I think the past 2 years, and it was probably my favorite year because I was on a team with Mackenzie, and just everyone on the team was just so happy and so cheerful when you won a
Yeah.
match, and it was just so much fun to be on a team like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something, Carrie's been experienced with AAU and she,
Oh
goes to
yeah.
all our stuff. And that's something we really tried to do, especially scholastic duels wise. We want everybody to have a good experience,
Yeah.
and cheer everybody on, win or lose. It doesn't really matter. It's off season. It's all about having fun and just getting a little bit better. Um, Both of you had the opportunity to go down to the scholastic duels this last year and both had
Yes.
so you both had some success, I believe. Uh, Mackenzie had 5 wins, and I think Kennedy had 3 wins somewhere in there. I looked it up. I'm not
Yeah.
100% right in there. So we'll start with competition. There's a lot of people that talk about Scholastic Duels as, oh, it's just a fun tournament that's not really that much competition. What was your guys' experience when it came to competition?
Oh, I thought the competition was definitely at a good high level. Like it was not oh, this next duel, this one's gonna be just a really chill, like simple duel, like easy pin. Like each duel, like each team had definitely a good roster and good girls. And like looking back at some of the girls I wrestled, like I wrestled several like I think several state runner-ups, a state champ a couple times. Like there was definitely high quality girls. Like it was not just some like, oh, Disney duel. Like it was definitely good competition by far.
Yeah, what was your experience out on the mat?
I maybe didn't win so much, but it was definitely that I was learning because I only have been wrestling for 3 years. So for me, it was definitely just learning at like each match and learning what I could do better. And I just thought it was a lot of fun being on a team and being able to wrestle good girls out there.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And what was so uh Kenny, you got to wrestle with Shay and Casey, probably two of my favorite coaches.
Yes.
I absolutely Shay has been with me since basically when she started wrestling and stuff. So it's really cool to see her on the coaching side of it. And then Mackenzie, you got to wrestle with Dan and Danny. Is that
Yes.
right? Well,
Yes.
what was so we'll start with Kennedy. What was your experience with Shay and Casey? Did you have a good time with them?
Yes, I actually had a really good time with them. They made it a lot of fun and it was like competitive. They wanted to win, and so it made you feel like you want to win your match. And I felt like even if I lost, they would still talk to me and tell me what I could do better. And like to me, that means a lot because like I don't want to lose a match and not have anyone tell me like, oh, you could have done this because then I don't know because I was wrestling. And so I just really liked how they cared for me and how they would tell me what I could have done better.
That's good to hear because that's how Shay was brought up. So, how was Dan and Danny? Those guys are pretty fun. Danny,
Yeah.
I've coached with Danny a few different times, so I really enjoy coaching with Danny. Haven't
Yes.
I never have coached with Dan, but good guy. So, what was your experience with those guys?
I like loved being on the team with both of them. Like, I was a little bit nervous because like going back to like the first time I ever did like a team with someone was the Twin Rivers, I think a couple years ago. And like the coaches I had, like I did not have the greatest experience. Like they didn't really talk to me much. They didn't really communicate with me that much. And so like obviously I had a great experience with them with Carrie. And then so like going in, like I was just like hoping that like I would get like I grow off of like a loving like nature type of like
Yep.
feedback. Like I love to give love in a way and like be friendly and be happy. And so I like to receive that like back. And so Danny and Dan were really good, really great. Like they were fun, they were funny, and not only that, like I could tell like every single person, even though they maybe never met you or coached you before, like they cared about you. And like I know like when I went out there and wrestled, like I could tell that they cared for me and like were telling me what to do. And like when I would get off the match, like they'd be really supportive. And so I thought it was really good to have those types of people.
Good. That's what I like to hear because a lot of times I'm helping put the coaching staffs together and stuff like that, and I love to hear the positive feedback.
Yeah. Yeah.
I, and if any girls are listening and they have a bad experience, say at Twin Rivers, come talk to me so I can maybe fix those things and
Yeah.
stuff. But no, I love hearing that experience. So the fun part of going down to Florida, what were some of the things that you really enjoyed to do?
Oh, um, the beach was nice. I really liked the beach and having the beach right there, but it was also fun. Me and Kennedy got paired up with Mara and Malin Davis from Algona. So we got
Yep.
paired up with two sisters.
Yep.
And so that was kind of fun to be with two sisters, and they were like so fun too. So I feel like having them with us like also made the experience better, and like we're still in contact with them and stuff like that. Um, Trying to even all think what we even did. I think Carrie took us shopping for a day, and I went down the street with Carrie and we went shopping, and that was fun. And um, I don't know, I feel like the whole experience was just fun, something different, and being around all those girls that like obviously we grow up with like being part of like a team with small girls. So seeing all these girls that really enjoy what you like to enjoy like made the experience even better because you know everyone here is for the same reason. And so I don't know, I love just being with other people and like meeting new people, and I had really fun doing all of that.
And what'd you like about it?
Honestly, I just liked meeting new people. I have made so many friends doing that. Like I probably still am in contact with like four people that I met down there. And I just loved going to the beaches, getting to spend time with people. I loved going to Disney. I thought that was a lot of fun.
Hmm.
And I just liked like being down in Florida. I just thought that was fun to like go and do something without like being with your parents. You're with like people your own age. So it was kind of a neat experience.
So I'll ask you guys since we're starting to plan next year.
Oh.
Do you think the 3 hour trip up to Orlando is worth it, or do you think we look for something a little bit more right in that area? Because there's some really cool things we saw last year. We haven't found this again, but there's a platform that holds like 100 people with a DJ and jet skis and stuff like that.
Oh, that sounds a lot of fun.
Does that
Um,
or the other option, there's Universal Studios there also, which is a little bit, for older kids. Sometimes Disney's maybe a little bit more younger. I love Disney because I'm kind of a kid. But
Yeah.
what's some things that you think would be kind of a cool experience?
I enjoyed Disney, but I feel like it was almost like because we got stuck to like the one park, and the park that we went to, I felt like there wasn't that many rides, and there was a couple rides that were shut down, so you couldn't really. I think a lot of people were like hoping to go on rides and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So I feel like it was kind of like you're just standing out there in the hot sun, I felt like, or I feel like it would have been better if you could have gone to like other parks, which obviously some people did, but then you'd have to like pay more where not everyone wanted to do that.
yeah.
But I've never been to Universal, and I knew someone who was at Universal and said that there was tons of rides and that there's a water park. And so I feel like when I heard that, I feel like I would have liked Universal better than maybe Disney, but I don't know.
Yeah, the previous 2 years we had gone to Universal Studios because we were in Orlando and
Right.
we were kind of go back and forth between Disney and Universal stuff. So it's good feedback to have because we're like I said, we're starting to plan that trip for next year. Um, One of the things that I enjoyed, and actually it's something that those experiences that I get, I actually got to sit with Kennedy at a little luncheon, and I
oh
really
yeah.
enjoyed that. I will tell you that those experiences to me are some of the highlights of my trips and stuff. So I really enjoyed that just that whole team bonding thing, and I'm glad they asked me to come along. Sometimes I just like to yap and talk too, so that's why they had me come along because they weren't sure exactly what to yap and talk about. So um, I don't know. What did Did the old guy bore you that night, or did you have a good time at that, at the little team meeting?
Oh no, I had a good time there. I actually really enjoyed doing that. I felt like that helped the team like bond more, and I felt like it was good for our team to do that.
Yeah. And what did you guys think about the luau? I did not get to go. I had to go to get a stupid award. So, what was the luau like? I heard it was just fantastic, but what was your experience there?
Oh, I think it was a lot of fun and like the DJ was fun and like everyone was and there was like I don't know, I think it was fun for everyone to do late at night and like get to like be really like fun and like different with like each other and so I thought that was really cool and a fun experience too and to not just be locked up in your like room late at night like you got to go out and do something.
Nice. Very nice. Let's see. I'm gonna go through. Well, actually, I'm gonna say actually I hope both of you get to make the trip again next year, and I hope you would enjoy going on that trip because we do like to make sure that people that have been on the trip come back and stuff like that. Like our seniors, it's always a bittersweet thing to have the seniors come and go, which I'm sure you're experiencing in everything you do this year.
Yeah.
It's great to do that, but it is bittersweet to have to say goodbye to some stuff. But I want to go through a series of questions. Just they're fun, but it does always spark a little bit of conversation and stuff. And some are easy, some are get a little more in depth. But um, cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Dogs.
I
Yep,
can't
cats are evil, aren't they?
can't do them.
Do you have a big dog or do you guys have a little dog?
She's really little.
Little.
She acts like a cat sometimes because she'll jump up on stuff and I don't know.
What do you got? What kind of dog do you have?
Like a Havapoo. She's
Havanese and
she's
toy
very
poodle.
you can grab her, Kendi. She's like 7 pounds. She's just a
Oh,
little
She looks like this.
oh my gosh. She's pretty cute. That's awesome. So that yeah, I have a pug and then I have
Oh,
a I and that's Baxter and he's really tough. And then I have Bella who is a American bully. So they're complete opposites and she's about 80 pounds and really thick and
uh
strong, but he runs the household. So it's kind of funny. Yeah, no, I'm more of a dog person than a cat
yeah.
person anytime. So if we were going to go on vacation, you guys got to pick where you wanted to go. Do you think you'd pick a mountainous area or do you think you'd go back to the beach or what would you like to do for a
I'd probably do like a beach place. I would say because when I think of vacation, I think of like just lounging on a beach, and I feel like vacation's more like relaxing versus like oh climbing up in a mountain. I would say or like doing like
I would choose a beach too because we live in a colder area and I'm not a fan of like the cold at all. I get cold super easily, so I couldn't be in the mountains.
yeah.
Oh, I absolutely hate the cold. I don't know why we live in Iowa. It just makes no sense. I've said that, I think, to Jason and Catherine so many different times. If I would have gone to Florida, like for spring break, I don't know if I'd ever come back to Iowa. Of course, I'm sure I get tired of the hurricanes and things like that
Oh,
too.
yeah,
Oh
I'm
yeah.
sure.
So, I think Mackenzie, you mentioned this earlier. Music. What genre of music do you guys like to listen to?
Oh, probably like your pop, like your either like 2000s to 2016, like your like classic like girl music, I would say.
I would say mine's like the same as Kinsey.
Yeah, I would say listen
Our
to.
one sister loves to sing and she's really in the music and she's really good at like the guitar and stuff.
Cool. That's
Yeah.
really cool. So who's your favorite artist then?
Ooh, probably oh Rihanna, probably Rihanna.
Okay. And
Mine's probably Rihanna or the Luminers or there was one more,
No comment.
YouTube.
Oh, you too.
I love you too.
nice. So if we're gonna, we got the beats on and we're getting ready for our match, what song are we playing before we go out for a state title?
Oh.
I have the two same songs I always listen to. It's Glorious and there's one other one, but it's similar to Glorious. But I always listen to those two songs and I just always have those ones on repeat because I only, I don't know.
I feel like I don't even know. I feel like my playlist is like I got a playlist from a friend and I just play it. Like I don't like necessarily listen to a certain song. Like I just listen to whatever song is next, unless or sometimes I'll skip a song if I don't like it, but I wouldn't even I wouldn't even know.
Wouldn't even know. So I've been asking this question, and it's interesting talking to older coaches and different coaches. So, Adam Hill, you all met Adam, right?
Uh-huh.
And he said, when he was wrestling, he would always get hyped up and listen to, heavy metal or something like
Yeah.
that. And now he'd want to take that back more and just more of relaxing
Mhm.
and just preparing himself mentally for the match. Talked to uh, coach from Hawkeye Community College, and he said the same thing when he was wrestling. It was always something really, really, really hard, and until he got ranked nationally. And then he said he was always so hyper and stuff. And then he had to maybe focus on his match a little bit more. So he went more of a slower song, more Zen music like that. And then I don't know if you got an opportunity to watch the podcast with Emma Randall. She's the development coach for USA Wrestling. She's
Yeah.
all this, and she said the same thing. You got to just go with more of you don't want to be so hyper. You don't want to waste all that energy in the thing. So that's kind of what I want to talk about is pre-match rituals.
Mhm.
What do you do prior to your match? Are you one of those that are up and jumping for a half hour, those types of things, or are we more chill? And you've kind of talked a little bit about what you need. So maybe talk a little bit about pre-match.
I would say throughout the years it's changed because I've started to like learn like my freshman year, I think I listened to like heavy metal because I was like, oh, I feel like I need to listen to this. It's gonna get me pumped up. But it would like overwork me and I would think about like then I'd be listening to five songs and I'd be listening for 30 minutes now to this point and I think it overworked me. And then I think like last year I started to listen to like really slow music because I thought, oh, maybe I need something that's really gonna calm me. But then it called me too much where I was like not even in the zone. And so I feel like I've kind of gotten to the point where I enjoy just like feeling like listening to songs that like I can sing to. So I kind of started to like I think at Decor like I started to like would like sing or dance a little bit if I could because then I would feel like I'm not thinking about my match and not worried about what's like next, I guess. So I like to find something that's gonna get me like out of the wrestling zone or and obviously there's been times where oh I like to get up like a certain amount of matches like beforehand like depending on how many mats there are or like what's going on like I definitely am not a person to sit down and then get up and be ready like I can't do that and so I probably will like walk back and forth and sometimes I'll like maybe skip or stretch a little bit beforehand, but otherwise I like to like listen to that music that I can sing and dance to, but then also I like to talk to someone a lot and like one person that helped with that a lot was like last year we added Sean Morsey as our assistant and he's like really funny and outgoing and so he really got me to like really be calm before my matches and like he'll joke with me right before I go out and I think I need that. I need like something, anything to like get me a little bit off that I'm like wrestling next.
Yes. How about you? What's your
Um,
pre-match ritual?
So I would say my freshman year, it's way different to now. I would always think about every move I have in my pocket because I felt like I was so new. I like would forget when I go out there. So I would do that every single time. I'd be like, oh, I have a sweep, I have this, that. And it would be so much in my brain. I feel like I wouldn't wrestle as well. And I wouldn't listen to music at all. And then this year, I just kind of had a different approach with it. I would like leave my mind completely blank and just listen to like not too hyped music, just like normal music, I feel like, and just pace, but like not pace too soon, like probably 20 matches before. And I can definitely tell an improvement in my wrestling, just like not even thinking, just kind of being like blanked before I go out and wrestle.
That's good. I mean, that's great. You guys are finding those things early in your career. Um, we'll talk about this then. So Mackenzie, are you thinking about college wrestling at all, or are you thinking of just doing something else? What's the plan right now?
Um, Obviously, I would say like if you asked me a year ago, I probably would say, "Oh, I'm for sure thinking about college." Like I probably would have been like, "Oh yeah, I'm definitely more open to it." But I'm definitely open to like people talking to me and like I'm not like closed off. Like I'm like if you have like really good points, but I feel like I'm okay with not wrestling next year. I'm okay with being off on my own, but I also am more so like if I'm gonna wrestle in college, I really want the coach to want me to wrestle for them.
Gotcha. How about you? What are you thinking about? I mean, I know it's a couple years off and then things can change, but what are you thinking?
I feel like honestly, probably also depends my major I choose because I have this one college of mine, St. Thomas, for business, but they don't offer wrestling. So I really feel like it depends my major. But I also feel like school's harder for me, so I don't know if I'd be able to like do both things at once. But I'm open-minded to it and willing to like talk to a coach, but I wouldn't say I'm like probably gonna do it.
I like your attitudes about it. I think in the past I've pushed so many people into wrestling in college that maybe weren't ready to wrestle in college. And you really have to, it's a huge commitment. And so
Yeah.
there's some other things that we've been starting to work on a little bit. I'm sure you've met Nadine, obviously, referee. Uh,
Mhm.
Yeah.
so Nadine and I did a clinic at our youth tournament where we certified girls to be officials. So we had six new female officials in our area. Well, actually, they're not in our area; they're all over the place because it's former wrestlers of mine and some Spencer girls. Would you ever consider being an official?
I actually probably would because I think I like growing up with going to wrestling meets my whole entire life. Like I love that. I love going spending my weekend at a wrestling meet. I find it so much I find it so much fun. Like going and watching and doing. So I think I would thoroughly enjoy like reffing. Like I think that'd be really fun.
How
I
about
feel
you?
like I feel like it would be probably fun to try. I've never really thought of it though, but I feel like it'd be fun, like to be able to do little kid tournaments, and I don't know, I feel like it'd be fun to watch.
Well, I'm gonna get Nadine in touch with you after this, so because she'll hook you up. So that, yeah, it's such a. I think it's really cool. You know, I talk about this a lot. In wrestling, and you guys have male coaches too, but having Carrie as a female coach, and then having Shay and having Casey, those are people that you can actually see yourself in and stuff. And so, it's pretty tough to see yourself in the fat old guy sitting in front of you right now. You know what I mean? You don't really probably want a beard, I don't think, and you probably want to keep your hair. So. I think it's so important that even if we're not going on to coach or going on to wrestle in college, that maybe we're considering coaching, or even if it's at the youth level to start. Maybe you don't want to be a high school coach, or maybe teaching is not your thing, and you don't think that, you know, coaching or officiating in some way, giving back to the sport, because those little girls really do look up to you guys a lot. I'm sure I don't know if you have a youth club that you have in your area, and I'm sure that if you do with the little girls, they flock to you too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's super important. Um, Freestyle or folk style?
Oh, I don't know. I like folk style for a lot of ways, but I feel like freestyle can be like more fun than
There's
folk style.
Yeah. What about you, Kennedy? Are you
I would say mine's probably very similar to Mackenzie. I like how in freestyle you can roll someone, and so I feel like it's a little bit easier, but I really like both, honestly.
Yeah, and well, Kennedy, you said you were going to do some freestyle this summer, focus on some freestyle. Are you going to do, are you doing any freestyle this summer or not?
As of right now, no, probably not. But
Probably not. That's all right. My experience with freestyle is very limited, and I lost a lot of freestyle matches just because I didn't understand the rule set and things like that. Um, what's your favorite color?
pink.
Mm,
How about you?
I'd probably say gold or pink.
Gold or pink? I used to hate pink, and then you damn girls got me switched over. I have pink shoes this year. I've got all
There you
kinds of
go.
pink crap. Ah, it's horrible. It's horrible. So, do you ever get to sit down and watch TV?
Uh, yes. Yeah.
Yes. Do you have a favorite TV show?
Oh, I watched I watched a lot, so I feel like Probably like One Tree Hill or something like that. I don't know.
How about you, Kennedy? You got
I would say my favorite's probably Hallmark. I love watching movies with my mom at night. I wouldn't say I have a favorite TV show because I'm not really into watching like TVs. I'm more just like movies.
gotcha.
What about
Hallmark.
you?
Oh my God, the Hallmark. I'm a comedy guy. I love comedies. My wife loves horror films. So
Oh,
it's kind of a contrast. Like my kids grew up watching like Chucky and things like that. So they're like 5, 6 years old, and they absolutely love horror films and Halloween and stuff. I way more comedy, but when I watch TV, I watch cooking shows. I
oh,
love
really?
watching like Bobby Flay and just different things like that. It's kind of I think that's fun. Do you watch cartoons at all?
No.
No. Oh my God. How about you, Kennedy? You watch cartoons?
When I was younger, I used to watch SpongeBob a lot. Like that was my favorite TV show in Dora the Explorer.
Oh my God. That's all I watch is cartoons, it seems like. If have you watched Bluey yet?
When I babysit, I watch Bluey.
Bluey is fantastic. It might be one of my favorite things to watch. I absolutely love it. So what's your favorite food?
Mac and cheese.
Mac
Mine's
and cheese.
probably steak or candy.
So let's explore the mac and cheese. Are we talking about like gourmet crumble on top? Or are we
Oh,
talking
just
craft?
any mac and cheese. Anything with like the macaroni noodle I'll eat.
Gotcha. Right out of the box, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Or,
Doesn't.
probably not right out of the box, but
Well, I mean, cooked out of.
yeah,
So, would you do you like the powdered cheese or the Kraft or Velveeta?
probably Velveeta.
There you go. And you're a steak girl, which is good.
Yes, I love steak.
So, favorite cut? Do you get sirloins? Do you get ribeyes? Do you get fillets? What would you get?
I usually get New York
Ooh,
steaks. Those are my favorite.
good choice. And how do you prepare that?
Medium rare.
Good girl. It's got to have some blood in there, right? That's awesome. And then what kind of candy? You said candy. So what?
Oh, I like am in love with candy. I have like candy probably
But
every other
it's
day.
sour candy. Like
Yes.
anytime we go to a gas station, I'm like she'll be like, "Oh, I'm just going to get a bubble or something." She'll come back out with like 3 bags of sour candy. Anywhere we go, she always gets sour candy.
Yeah, I would say my favorite's probably I just got it for Christmas, but it's sour gushers. They're on like TikTok shop and I eat the whole thing, but they're so good. So I'd say those are probably my favorite.
So do we have any issues with making 100 this year or
No.
okay. Just checking. Just checking with all the sour candy for over Christmas. So you know, I do want to did we talk? We didn't really get to talk about the new rule set very much. What do you like? Do you like the new 3-point takedowns, 2, 3, 4 on the
Yeah, I would say I do. I mean, I definitely will say like when you're in a match, I will say you kind of get confused at first when you maybe see like the points higher than like you would probably normally see because they obviously go up way higher now. And so I feel like that still is gonna take a little bit is like or even just watching a match, seeing like the point difference. Um, but I would say I like it. I mean, obviously I think it's good for then people to wrestle more like on their feet with the 3-point takedowns. Um, I don't know. I will say I feel like I almost would I don't know. I almost feel like an escape then shouldn't be 1 point. I don't know.
I hear what you're saying. It makes the bottom wrestling doesn't seem quite as important.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah, because it's like in the past you could get an escape and then it's like 2 to 1. You know what I mean? Like it's way
Yeah.
closer. Like it doesn't feel like an escape would really do much for you now.
Yeah, it's crazy. Sometimes I'll look up at the scoreboard and go, how in the hell are we down by it's like and it's like we're down by 10 points and nothing's happened really yet, that 4-point back points and a
Oh
couple
yeah.
takedowns is like, oh crap. So what do you think about that, Kennedy? Are you enjoying the new rule set? Does it wrestle? Is your wrestling towards that a little bit more?
Yeah, I'm probably kind of towards it because the only thing is, though, I don't like is I feel like trying to get out from bottom is so much work and it's only worth 1 point. So I'm more of a person that's like, I'll just lay out on bottom and wait. But I really enjoy it. This year, my goal was to get a tech fall. I've never tech fall anyone, and I got two tech falls this year. So that was kind of a big deal to me because I really wanted to do something like that. And I feel like it's a lot easier because you can get like 3 points and that stuff.
Yeah. I'm hoping your coach didn't Will does not hear you say I just lay on bottom because he probably is going to freak out on that one.
Yeah.
I've noticed over the years coaching girls, and I've done it for quite a while now. Bottom position for girls is absolutely not the best place to be.
Oh
You
yeah.
know,
Yeah.
I think that upper body strength and it's just something that you're not geared for it, you know? So, and then the shoulder injuries, do either of you got shoulder problems?
Mm-mm.
I kind of have a collarbone issue, so my collarbone has popped out. It happened in at AAU, and so like sometimes if I don't have it taped, it like hurts really bad. So I have some issues, but it's not like that bad compared to other people.
Yeah, it's so many shoulder injuries over the
Oh
years
yeah.
that I've watched. It's crazy, crazy to see that. So if the coin, it's flipped, it's your choice, second period, and we're taking away defer, because you got to make the choice. What are you taking?
I'm taking neutral probably.
Okay. How about you?
I'm gonna probably choose top or bottom. Our coaches always make us choose bottom because they want us good on bottom, and so I've gotten a lot better at bottom. But I don't know, it's probably gonna be top or bottom.
Yeah, that's something as an older guy, bottom was always our choice. That was a rule in our room. You have to be able to get away to win.
Mhm.
Since I started coaching girls, I've gone away from that because I've watched some really good girls get beat, taking down because you just give up the back points or get pinned when we're way ahead. So I honestly, do your coaches make your decision for you or do you make the decision?
I let my coaches make the decision. I feel like I trust them enough to that they would know.
Yeah, I try not to make the decision because I
Yeah.
want you to own that. And so a lot of times is what I'll tell a wrestler, they look over at me like they're lost and say, where can you win this match? And then they start thinking about, well, top or or I know I can get away or I know I can take them down. So I want my wrestlers to own their position and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's just my philosophy. It doesn't mean right, wrong, indifferent or anything like that. Um, I don't think I have anything else, but I do like to leave a little time for both of you to give a little bit of final thoughts on, wrestling, whatever you want to talk about. Um, Go ahead, take the floor. Both of you can have just a minute or two of three, four, five, 10. I don't care, whatever you want to talk about, but just go ahead and give us some final thoughts.
Well, I appreciate you having us on the podcast. That means a lot to us. I've enjoyed talking to you. But I would say like wrestling has been a sport that's really like changed by perspective of people. I feel like now, like looking back at myself going when I first went out in sixth and seventh grade, I like almost felt like ashamed in a way to be out for girls wrestling, because it was so new and like I felt like then like people looked at me automatically like, oh, I was bad because I just went out for it, which I mean, I wasn't like, I just went out for the sport I was learning, but
Yeah.
I just, so I feel like looking then back to my senior year, like obviously like I see like no one I don't think ever really see think twice about someone going out for the sport and like it's like so encouraged now and so it's really good to see like I feel like a lot of girls feeling comfortable to do the sport and to like be proud to do the sport and I will say at my school I'm thankful that a lot of the boys like were all really good to me because this was the first year that we've wrestled not with the boys at their practice otherwise I've always have and they've always been like really good to me in the practice room, have treated me and nothing like different than what they have been. And I know there's a lot of girls who have experienced bad with being in a boys' wrestling room. And so I'm really glad, and especially the coaches, like all the coaches are like, they don't care. They'll work with like any girl or guy. And so I appreciate like a lot of the community being like really supportive of us choosing to wrestle, and I'm glad that I've been able to do a sport that's different than most anyone at like than anyone else at our school. Like, it's like almost like special to me to be able to do something that's just my own.
That's awesome. How about
I
you,
would say
Kennedy?
mine's very similar to everything Mackenzie had to say. I love practicing with the boys. I feel like the way they push themselves make you want to work harder because sometimes being in a room with new girls, it's hard to be able to get that high intensity feel in the room. So it's kind of nice practicing with the boys when we did. And I really like all the coaches a lot. They're so supportive and everything. And I'm just really glad like I have the opportunity each day to be able to wrestle and go out there.
Man, that's awesome. Both of you said just great things. I'm glad you have great experiences.
Yeah.
And what Kennedy just said, the opportunity to get to go out and wrestle. I believe it was Hannah Davis. I had a conversation with her a few weeks ago, and to her it was always a privilege to get to go out and wrestle. It's I don't have to go wrestle, I get to go wrestle. I love that you take that attitude. I'm glad that you guys have just a great supportive room because not everybody has that
Yeah.
and stuff. So that's fantastic. Um, as far as having you guys on the podcast, this is really fun for me. I don't care if it ever takes off, and I don't, if I don't get Joe Rogan money, it'll be okay. I really enjoy talking to people that I've coached in the past, and I really enjoyed having Riley and Callista Radish on. So I thought it'd be fun to have sisters. And then you mentioned Mara and Malin, and
Yes.
those two are awesome too. I love those girls. We wrestle against Algona a couple times a year,
Okay.
and they've come down and when I coach at BV in the Buena Vista University in the off season and stuff, they come down and practice with me, and so yeah, great fun girls and stuff. We'll probably have to have those two on to contrast you, and maybe they can tell some bad stories about you guys and that you snore or something like that. So no, it was really fun to have you guys on. I appreciate you doing this, and good luck the rest of the season. And I
Thank
know I'm
you.
going to see you both down at state, right?
Yes.
So so enjoy the rest of your season, and we will see you soon. Hold on just one second. I'm going to stop the recording.